Group Show with Michele 1L Cummins, no G, and myself, Curtis Pope. Good morning to you, Michele. How are you doing?
I just stretched and yawned. I'm doing so good, and it feels so early to me this morning.
It does kind of, doesn't it? I mean, do you need another coffee? I can wait.
This morning, have to admit, I'm having a Christmas coffee.
A Christmas coffee. Oh, okay. Well, now I'm a little jealous because I'm just having, I'm having instant coffee this morning because I didn't feel like doing an entire pot.
Oh, Curtis, instant? Oh, my goodness. Okay.
I will say this.
Another sip of my Christmas coffee for you.
It's not the best, but the Tim Hortons instant coffee is not the worst thing in the world.
I've never had it.
It's okay. I mean, in a pinch, when you don't feel like making the entire fresh pot of coffee.
Oh, my goodness. Well, don't be jealous of my, special coffee that when your kids say, hey, can I have a sip? You're like, no, it'll stunt your growth.
Exactly. Well, I got to ask you this because I know you're a little further down the valley and sometimes it gets socked in a little bit with the air. How is the smoke out your way?
Actually, I have not really noticed it. I mean, not out here, no. I mean, because the air out here is always fresh and always clean, right? Well, last year or the year before, it was some fires around like Hot Springs and off the Lowita Highway. But anyways, it was really bad. But it's actually good clean air right now. Okay,
so if people need to get some fresh air today, they need to head out towards Agassiz and Harrison then.
Yes, absolutely. I would advise it.
Yeah, because it's a little smoky around Abbotsford, I'm not going to lie.
Is it? Well, I think that you should then come on back out. I know last weekend you were out here for the Bard on the Beach at Harrison.
Yes, we were out for that, and Dylan had his performance there online, and it was different this year. It wasn't the normal bands on the beach, but we still had the live performances. Just they were virtual, sadly.
So glad that they were still that it still happened though, so that we can watch. And it was a lot of fun. And you were there banging your what's that called?
Well, there's different things. Some call them a Cajun drum box. I think they also called a cajon, and I think just drum box. The funny thing is, I didn't tell Dylan this. I've never really played one before.
Oh, Curtis.
Didn't want to give the kid any more nerves, right? So.
Oh, that's right. It was awesome. On the video there, I couldn't quite see what you were banging. That's why I'm like, well, I think I know what he's banging there.
Yeah, it looks like I'm just banging on my leg or something. I know. It's like, we couldn't get, the full shot couldn't get us both in it, so.
Yeah, I didn't have the wide angle lens.
Well, you need that to get me into a shot because, the camera adds 10 pounds too. And in my case, I think there was 3 cameras on me.
Oh, my golly. Oh, I know what that's like.
Well, yes, as an actress, I'm sure you've looked at shots, and it's true. The camera does often add 10 pounds. I think that's why actors are often so thin. And you look, wait a minute, why does that shot look like that?
Yes, every time I meet an actor and I'm like, oh my gosh, you're just so small. It's like, or when you go into museums and you see the clothes from the movies or, TV shows that you watch, and you're like, how does anybody fit in that? Like, how do they fit in that? Because, they kind of just look not normal, but not skinny or very small on screen. And then you meet them or and it's like, wow, you really are tiny. Is there anything to you? I can pick you up and throw you.
I'm always fascinated by the heights of actors and how many actors are not super tall. I mean, I think the average height for an actor is like 5'7", 5'8". Like,
it is so strange, right? And yeah, except for Nicole Kidman.
Nicole Kidman is tall, and some people. I think Brad Pitt's just a shade under 6 feet, and there's some of them that are. The Rock is like 6'5", but there's so many others like Tom Cruise and Al Pacino, and I think even Robert De Niro is like all of 5'8", 5'9", but he's larger than life on screen.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Totally larger than life.
But yeah, that's it. I guess if you're big, you're going to athletics. If you're smaller, then you go into the arts.
Yeah, exactly. I wonder, young Frankenstein, how tall he was.
That's a good question. Very good question. I guess we should probably get to some real estate stuff. And I understand that today we're going to talk about multiple offers because it's a hot topic. I know the house across the street from me went for $75,000 over asking. I'm assuming there was more than one offer for that.
Yes, there better have been. That's otherwise. It is true, and there's been a lot of talk around that, yeah, exactly, 50,000, 75, 100,000 over asking. I mean, questions are like, how much over asking are listings, are properties selling for? And it's kind of all over the map. Most are selling for over asking, and they start from anywhere from like 2,000 over asking all the way up to, I've heard, 100,000 over asking or so. So, multiple offers. So the first segment here, we're going to talk about what sellers should expect. And then second segment, we're going to talk about how buyers win them. It's so frustrating for buyers, but, how can you win when you go into a multiple offer situation? Be prepared, and you got it. So we'll talk about that, too. And so let's get into it. What are multiple offers, and how do they work? If you've never dealt with one before, whether a seller or buyer, what they are is if more than one party has submitted an offer on a particular property at the same time, or even in the midst of looking at one offer and another offer comes in all of a sudden, it changes the dynamics, and then instantly it's a multiple offer situation. So in this case, all buyers have one opportunity to put their best foot forward. So your best offer forward, and all offers are presented to the seller, and the seller has several options available to them. The seller may choose to accept one of the offers. They may counter back one of the offers. They may reject all of the offers, or they may ask to have some or all of the offers resubmitted. So let's say you are a buyer, you're wanting to put in an offer, your agent lets them know, hey, I've got an offer, put it through, and then all of a sudden, you've left it open for 24 hours or 9 hours or whatever the case is for the seller to get back to you. But in the midst of them getting back to you or considering your offer, all of a sudden, another offer comes in. So that listing agent would notify your buyer's agent and say, hey, we just received another offer. We are now in a multiple offer situation. So in that case, the buyer should revise their offer to make it the best offer, because obviously originally it wasn't a multiple. So until all parties actually sign an initial end date and have a concrete accepted offer in place, either or party, seller or buyer, can rescind their offer or just change it. And this could happen. So this could happen to the best of you buyers out there. So it is a seller's market right now. It has been since July. A seller's market doesn't always relate to every 5 houses selling in multiple offers, though. So, yes, it's a seller's market, but it's a hot seller's market. And yes, like literally every 5 properties or more are all you find out, multiple offers are happening. So that is what sellers should expect. Most likely, if they're pricing their property correctly, then and listening to the advice of their realtor on how to price it in this crazy market, then you should be getting multiple offers. So what we're faced with today in the Fraser Valley, that's just what it is. So and more than the Fraser Valley, even the island, this is happening on the island and in many other places in Canada. So while as a seller you may be tempted to list for higher price than, I want to let everyone know to be careful because we only, for example, have gone up overall in the Fraser Valley for benchmark prices 1.2% from July to August. So while you're tempted in this type of market to go, I'll list my house for a lot more than I was going to, and, kind of shoot out this high price because it sounds good in your mind, be careful not to overprice your home, because the worst in this market is overpricing, and then you don't get an offer in the first week, and then you most likely will lose that opportunity of the buyer, and the buyers will know you're overpriced. So while the opposite is true, you want to smart price your home. So smart pricing is really just, if it's only gone up 1.2% from the month before, you should really stick with that price that you would have listed it at a month prior. The market can change day to day. So your realtor will have their finger on the pulse of exactly what's happening today in today's market. So listen to their advice because they want to get you the highest price possible. That is their goal and that is their job. So you want to draw the attention of the buyer. If you haven't got any offers in, let's say, a week in this type of market, then buyers, they're going to know and they're not going to offer you as good as you can get, and the excitement from them is going to be off, and the focus won't be on your property. You want to be the focused property. You want to be the hot property on the market. You want to be the next one all the buyers want to put an offer on. This will help drive your price up and over the list price, and in my experience will garner you more in your pocket than if you tried to list your property for higher right off the bat. You nor your agent knows what it will sell for. I mean, that's that crystal ball none of us have. But there is a pocket you want to stay within in order to sell at the highest price, and only the most motivated buyers will expose what that highest price really is, because it's the buyers who determine what they're willing to pay for it. So you want to try to price it in that pocket, that estimated area. And that's why in this market you don't take bully offers as well, because bully offers are what some buyer agents will come and say, hey, take our offer. You need to get back to us by, let's say, just 5 p.m. tonight. Otherwise, we're not going to offer on your property, and we're going to move on. So that's sort of called like a bully offer. But you want to allow time for exposure on the marketplace and set a future date to receive offers so that all buyers have an opportunity to purchase the property. In my experience, those bully offers that have come in have not been the best offer. It may look and appear really good, but you really want to give time for exposure on the marketplace. You want all the buyers to have an opportunity, and usually, 5 to 7 days is enough time in this type of market, if it's exposed correctly, to have that, and that will drive up the price. And trust me, every one of those bully offers still came in with the offer when we looked at multiple offers. So while not everything's the same, we've always got a better price. So, unless it's a great, amazing bully offer, it's your choice as the seller to decide what you want to do. So that's definitely, all offers have to be presented to sellers, and it is your choice of what you want to do. And if you want to take that bully offer, you may. It is your prerogative. Your listing agent will have to let everyone know who's interested in your property so that they're aware of it, and do that for you. So, but be careful. You don't want to also set the future date to be too far in the future, or you will lose the adrenaline of the buyers, and you'll lose their emotional tie to the property, which means you may lose their interest and their motivation. So while you want to kind of set a certain date when you'll receive and look at all offers, just kind of keep it in that pocket of maybe 5 or 7 days. Your realtor will advise you. It really depends on what type of property is, when it goes live on the market, and your realtor's advertising and what they're planning on doing to give it the exposure it needs. So definitely speak with them about that. As a seller, what you can expect if your home receives multiple offers, let's quickly chat about that. If your realtor believes that your home may be likely to receive multiple offers, there are some strategies to be considered. You could accept offers as they come in. You could accept offers only after a certain date, like I mentioned. This will ensure that everyone is aware of the timelines and are able to get their offer in, which is really helpful to get you top dollar as a seller. So you as a seller, though, as I said, you can change your mind on how you want to deal with the timing of your offer presentations. If you do change your mind, your realtor must make sure that all interested parties are made aware of any changes to the presentation process. Once you begin to deal with offers, the decision process can be overwhelming. So this is where the experience and training of your realtor will provide just invaluable. They can make all the information and present it to you in a way that you can make best decision possible. So ultimately, it is your decision on which offer you would like to accept. Your listing broker can explain various negotiating strategies for you to consider. For example, You can just accept the best offer, or you can inform all potential purchasers that other offers are, let's say, on the table and invite them to make any changes to make their offer better to be considered in the top best offers. So you can counter one offer while putting the other offers to the side, awaiting a decision on your counter offer, or you can counter one offer and reject the others. Once you have your best offer accepted, you can also accept another offer as a backup offer in case the first offer doesn't remove any of the subjects that that maybe it falls through or they didn't deliver the deposit on time. So that's some information for sellers. I know it's a lot to process, but there are multiple and different ways you can look and respond to multiple offers.
All right. Well, I think with that, we should probably take a break. So if people want to get more information, what can they do?
MichelleCummins.ca.
We're back with more right after this. Segment number 2 of the Cummins Real Estate Group show with local real estate rock star Michele Cummins and myself, Curtis Pope. Now, Michele, what about people when they get multiple offers? How do they get the best bang for their buck here?
Okay, so buyers, how to win multiple offers. So it's nerve-wracking. It's frustrating. Your emotions are all, at the height, but there is a way to win them. So let me shed some light on that. So as a buyer, what can you do to ensure that your offer is competitive? If you would like to be successful in getting your offer on a property accepted, which of course you do, you will want to work closely with your realtor and let them guide you through the process. Remember, as a buyer, hiring a realtor does not cost you, because in most cases, the commission is paid by the seller, right? So you don't have to worry about that. Make sure you have buyer representation in any situation, but especially when you're going into multiple offers. In a multiple offer situation, you generally, you don't have the same opportunity to negotiate as you would if you had the only offer on the property. So assume that you have one chance to submit your offer and have the seller accept it. Only one chance. I know the seller has multiple ways they could deal with offers coming in, but trust me, you don't want to be shy of your offer. You have, just tell yourself, and in most cases it's true, you have one chance. Make it the best. So when you're preparing your offer, here are some important factors to consider. Price, the most important of the factors. You need to know what the house is worth, what it will appraise for, and how much are you willing to spend. In most cases, you will need to offer more than the asking price. And in this case, as we talked about, prices are going all the way up to almost, like $100,000 over asking. But in order to, you don't have to do that. It's not all cases, but you do have to be willing to go over asking in a multiple offer. Otherwise, why even try? To get your offer accepted, I always tell my buyers to ask themselves, if you lose the property over $2,000, over $5,000, maybe over $10,000, or $20,000, whatever it is, will you cry yourself to sleep because you love it so much and you would have paid it? When you find out, if you lose it and you find out the accepted offer was only $5,000 or $10,000 or whatever it is, $2,000 over what you offered, you have to there is a cap, of course, but you have to kind of just ask yourself that. Will I cry myself to sleep? Because I would have paid that $5,000 extra for it. And don't be shy, just to put it in there. There is the risk of paying, maybe too much. But if you look at how long you're going to be in the home or the property, how much you love it, the opportunity of what else are you going to get and what are you going to end up paying for that. In this area, we're known for our equity growth. So if you pay a little too much for it, but you're financially able to do so, then what does it hurt to pay a little more in today's market, since, you know, we are in this type of market, and how long you're there's a process and everything about that. But, you know, that's a good question to ask yourself. Don't have your head stuck on the list price. Throw the list price away. Don't think of it, and just ask yourself seriously, how much is it worth to you? How much is it worth to you? And have that discussion with your realtor. You know, if I pay this price for it, you know, and I want to sell in 5 years, you know, what may that look like? You know, just ask yourself those questions. Closing date. A closing date is the next most important factor for the seller, right? Because you want to make it as attractive to the seller as possible. So closing date is close possible to the request of the sellers if you can find out previous what they want. Otherwise, leave the dates open. Leave the closing date open for the seller to punch in what they want, if you're able to do that, right? You can put an end date. Your realtor can discuss in the presentation of the offer kind of the time frame you're thinking of. But, you know, if you're renting something or you're able to be flexible with your dates, that will go a long way. Third most important is deposit. A larger deposit will demonstrate to the seller that you as the buyer, you're more committed to purchasing the property, that you're good for it, that you're serious. The finance subject is one of the riskiest ones for sellers. So if you can already have the bank appraisal done and pre-approval letter with your offer, do it. If you can have the deposit in hand, you know, definitely have that deposit in hand if you can. Don't wait until after, let's say you have a subject to financing in there, you know, or any other subjects. Don't wait till after subject removal to say you'll deliver the deposit. In multiple offer situations, have it with your offer and have it as best of a deposit as you can, because that will definitely go a long way. Your offer will stand out amongst the rest. Then the next most important is conditions, of course. The buyer wants to make the offer as attractive to the seller as possible. So given this, an offer with the fewest conditions possible is most likely to be accepted in the situation. It's important to protect your interest as a buyer, though. So there's a number of ways to accomplish this. You could have your inspections done before presenting your offer, if there's enough time. You can get pre-qualified for your mortgage financing and discuss the specific property with your lender beforehand. If you don't have these things done, review the title beforehand if you can. Know the zoning of the property. Review all the information that's necessary beforehand. And if you can write a no subject offer because you've done all your due diligence because there was enough time to, great. Then make it subject free if you've done it. But if you haven't, then, it is a risk not having it in there, so have it in there. But if you strategize and have the other things done, then that's wonderful. If there's a well or a septic, ask the seller, have your agent ask them if they've had a water test done recently already, if they've had the septic inspected recently. Some listing agents have these things done beforehand. Some sellers even have pre-inspections done of the property that you can actually have access to as a buyer, so you can possibly rely on those inspections that may have been done previously. So intentions. In today's COVID-still world, buyer agents aren't presenting their offers in person. Even though that is the best way to present for a buyer in a multiple offer situation, the agent can, it's important to sell the buyers and their offer to the seller, but they can't be present. So since they can't do that, the option for a buyer, and it's paramount that they actually provide a letter. So as a buyer, to win your offer, submit a letter. It could be an email to the seller telling them how much and or what they love about the property. So let the seller know, compliment them. How well they maintain their home, give them a compliment. The buyer should tell the sellers also who they are and what they intend to do with the house. No one wants to hear about their home going to be torn down, right? So mention things that will have a positive impact. And send a family photo of you and your spouse or your children, even your pet, And send that along with the letter, because that will go a long way. We're visual people. We're all emotional about our home. We feel and we care who ends up buying our home. So let the seller know how nice and friendly and cool you are, right? Share a little bit about yourself, because that will also go a long way. So question. If you put an offer on a home, will you be able to find out what the other offers are? So many buyers, you want to know, well, what's the other offer? Well, no, this is a closed process, meaning that you will not know the contents of the other offers that are being considered, nor will your realtor know the facts, right? So this includes how many competing offers have been received. A lot of times we don't know as a buyer's agent until the hour that they want to receive the offers, because most buyer's agents, a lot of them will wait last minute to submit it. If the seller's brokerage is representing one or more of the buyers, and if there is a financial advantage to the seller from any of the buyers. So this is why it's so important to put your best foot forward on the offer, because you won't know what the other offers are. So just be ready to do that. How are we on time, Curtis?
Well, we're getting there. We might want to wrap this up and get to any possible open houses or new listings pretty quick.
Okay, you know what? I do have some open houses happening today, and so we can talk about that. We've got on Falcon Place, which is out on Mount Woodside in Harrison Highlands community. We've got that one at 1 o'clock. A simultaneous open house I'm having with the one down the street from there, my one off Highlands Boulevard. So one has an in-ground pool, one of the biggest yards of the community, private green space. The other one off Highlands has views of the river and the mountains. It's south-facing. It's got amazing, gorgeous gardens above. So today between 1 and 3, come on out to Mount Woodside in Agassiz and see me and my colleagues at those two beautiful homes. And then we've got tomorrow brand new listing off Hawthorne in Mission, and that is completely private. It's like a half acre. It's gorgeous. I'm going to be there from 2 to 4. These are on my website or my Facebook. You can have a look at the specifics before you come out. And my website, MicheleCummins.ca. But before we go, I just want to end on a Clint Eastwood quote for you all. Respect your efforts, respect yourself. Self-respect leads to self-discipline. When you have both firmly under your belt, that's real power.
Go ahead, make my day. I like that, a Clint Eastwood quote. Now you're right in my wheelhouse now.
Clint Eastwood taught my mom how to play cards.
That is very cool.
Yeah.
Between your Elvis and Clint Eastwood stories, you're like the coolest woman I know.
Make my day.
All right, if we want more information about what you do as a realtor, what can people do?
Google Michele Cummins.
That's nice. You just Google her. Or go to michelecummins.ca.
Yes, either or.
And make sure you join us again next week for another edition of the Cummins Real Estate Group Show. Once again, we will talk real estate in order to unlock your real estate potential on a show where real estate is maximized. Thanks for listening.